Hey everyone, I am Star Penn. I am your leaky gut coach, and I'm here to share with you what every parent needs to know and the reasons why it is so unbelievably important to understand what it is that we really have to do to get to the root of our children's autoimmune conditions. As you know, I am the founder and creator of the JIA Blueprint. I help moms with children who have juvenile arthritis and other autoimmune issues that go along with that to reverse their condition completely and for all time so that they as a mom can be everything that they need and want to be for their child, but so that their children can have the future that they've always dreamed that they could have and would have, and that their child can really live out all of their goals and desires in life. That's really what we want as moms. And many of you know my child had juvenile arthritis. And so, what happens when we get this diagnosis, aside from when we go through the whole stages of grief and we're in denial and we're in fear and all of those things, we finally settle in, we tend to think we have two options. And I'm here to share with you why really one or the other, and that really these two options, that's really not the full picture. And that's what I want to share with you today to help you in making the most educated decision possible and really knowing what road it is that you need to get on in order to really truly get your child healed. So the one is, obviously, we have the medication option. What does the medication do? We all know, right? And we're not necessarily against it. We all know the medication is going to suppress the immune system and thereby remove the symptom that we're seeing, which is going to be pain, swelling, inflammation in our child's joints, tissues, and even with a lot of juvenile arthritis, children with the eyes. Uveitis is a huge co-infection, I guess you could say, to juvenile arthritis. And a lot of times they come hand in hand, but not always. So that's what the medication does. We love it, right? We want our child out of pain. We want the activity of the immune system cleaning out those joints and tissue and it destroying that joint and tissue. We want that to stop. So that's great. Then we have the other option, which is, used to be back in my day, used to be go to a naturopath or a herbal doctor, a holistic doctor. Now, over a decade later, we've had this not resurgence, but we've had this insurgence, I guess is the word, of functional medicine. It was not as common 10 years ago, but we absolutely love it. Why do we love it? Because functional medicine doctors tend to be medically trained doctors who are realizing that they weren't really helping people and they really want to help heal. They have a whole different set of tests that they run that really check the gut microbiome, and they understand underlying infections that are causing these things. We're looking for mold, like just really heavy metals, just things that the medical side isn't looking at. And that model really does get us pointed more in the right direction on really getting to the root of it, right? Because we know the medical side, it's just going to suppress symptoms. And again, we don't want these symptoms. Our children can't be in pain, right? Okay. We don't want these symptoms. So it's not to say, it's just explaining them. Okay. So that's what that is. The functional, they kind of operate on the same, because they're medically trained, I think by default. But they're going to look at the test and they're going to say, oh, well, this is high, this is low. This nutrient is high, this nutrient is low, this gut bacteria is low, or, something like that. And then you're going to get transferred into the lobby area where they're going to have shelves, if you've been there, of supplements. This supplement goes to this result on the test. This supplement goes to this result on the test, down the line, right? And because we're taking something that is going to help remedy something, things start to connect, right? Things start to say, oh, I think I see improvement. And it's not medication, it's not suppression, it's actually adding, it's actually helping and healing, right? A lot of functional doctors, what they're going to find on a lot of these blood tests, and a lot of times just blanketly recommend, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, is no gluten, no dairy, no sugar. That is only going to help, right? And so a lot of us feel that these are the only two avenues, and a lot of us will do them in tandem. And I think that that's good, because the medical, a lot of times, our insurance is covered anyway, and or a lot of it is. And then we have this other one, which is the expense, but it's like our hope. It's like, this is what's gonna do it, and this is, and we do get benefit in healing. What I want to share with you is why that is not enough. Even doing them together is not enough. Why removing dairy, sugar, gluten, let's say eggs show up, or whatever these diets, or not diets, tests say that you need to eliminate from the diet. Why it's not enough. Okay. And really, why it is so important that you take what I'm about to share with you really, really to heart. Because as the steward of our children's health, their well-being, all their future prospects, us as moms, we put it on our shoulders, whether it's our responsibility or not. We say that's our job. It is to really heal them, right? That's really what we want. So we already discussed the medical side, the more natural side, the supplement, addressing it supplementally. We really want to see that, yes, a lot of these supplements have positive benefit, but we're doing the same thing. We're seeing a symptom on the test, and we're coming out with the corresponding remedy, and we're just dealing with those symptoms, which is good. We're lessening the what we can see and what our children can feel about this disease. And a lot of times we might get where we feel like, oh, like they're better. What I have seen is when we just stop there, other autoimmune issues and or neurological, behavioral, hormonal issues come after that, requiring more tests. Different things come up wonky. Got to keep throwing different things at it. And it's as these moms, we end up thinking, man, I just have really bad genes, or, this kid is just really sick. And we're not really realizing that all of these things, that the things that come up after the juvenile arthritis, or we might even have things that came before, like skin conditions, or bad breath, or constipation, or GERD, or there could have been things that came before, that they're all connected. They're all one thing. And so we really need to figure out, well, what is that one thing that is making me go to the doctor, making my kid be in pain? What is the root of the one thing? So the secret is, it shouldn't be a secret, but the secret is that juvenile arthritis, type 1 diabetes, neurological tics, autism spectrum stuff, behavioral issues. A lot of these kids have lots of rage. Maybe not our JIA kid, but kids who do have that. Just the whole gamut of it. Hormonal issues, neurological issues, autoimmune issues all have the exact same root cause. And you know what I'm going to say, right? But this is not a buzzword anymore. It's even our doctors know now. It's a leaky gut, right? It's a leaky gut. Okay. So we need to get to that. And you're going to find a lot of functional doctors who, believe that. And they're going to prescribe or sell certain supplements, L-glutamine, collagen, different things that's supposed to help heal the gut. On the one hand, no, you couldn't possibly take enough L-glutamine to actually heal your gut, even though in studies it technically could. It's a muscle recovery supplement, and your children would need to take. Not only that, it's in its synthetic form, and so is the collagen. So I'm just putting out there some of the things that you're probably already familiar with, some of the things that you might have already tried. And because a lot of people really try to kind of makeshift this on their own and grab from here and grab from here and grab. I'm going to try all this. And what we end up doing is we end up wasting a whole lot of time. Our kid does end up getting sicker in the end. And then we feel helpless because we feel like in our mind we've tried everything and nothing works. And then where do we end up? Back at the rheumatologist on lifetime immunosuppressants. That's what ends up happening. Trying to take different things from here and there and try and mix them all together, because really it's so much more than just a leaky gut. You want to go back to the cause and the cause and the cause. Yes, our child has a leaky gut. Now we need to go deeper, and then we need to go out. Okay, why? Let's go deeper. Why did they have a leaky gut? How did it get leaky? So these are the things that need to be dealt with. How does it get leaky? It could be trauma at birth. It could be exposure to mold. It could be heavy metals in the body from vaccinations. Because what do those things do? Well, then they bring up parasitic, what we call parasites or bad bugs, but they bring up a certain kind of critter in the body that can handle mold, that can handle heavy metals. And now there's a proliferation of those. So then our kids end up to be the type of kid that develops strep. We're kind of not sure if it's Lyme. They have Epstein-Barr, like all these strange co-infections. And we're led to believe, right, when these things come up on our functional tests, like, wow, like this is so bonkers. Like, how? No, this is exactly how it starts, because these bad bacteria have had to rise to the fore in order to deal that root cause. So when they do, you've seen my videos, when they do, they take over inside the gut lining. They create a lot of havoc. They rip holes in the gut lining. They eat away at the peripheral lining of the gut, which is meant to absorb nutrition, and they just habitate all throughout that mucosal lining. And it just picture a beautiful garden versus like an alley street in a dilapidated city. Like that's what ends up happening to our children's guts. And then we think, okay, leaky gut. Okay, got to seal the gut. Okay, so it's all dilapidated. Well, we got to heal the gut. We got to rebuild the gut. And all that is true. And now I'm going to share there's even more that needs to be done, because, right, we have a leaky gut. So toxins are now out, and they're in the bloodstream, and they're in the tissue, and they're behind the eye, and they're getting in the brain. And now the immune system found it in the joints, and now we're having a flare, and now they're picky, right? Because the gut brain and these bad bacteria are like, I need simple carbs. So it's this mess, right? But we want to remember too, with that happening, not just with them getting out into the bloodstream, but also with the immune system trying its best to keep up with all these toxins that were never supposed to be in the bloodstream, there's all of this shedding and die-off that happens. And so we end up with a child with a very toxic body. And we don't know it while it's happening. We don't know it until we get that inflammation flare, that JIA flare that sends us to the doctor. But there's no real signs, because quite honestly, whether your other children or your sister's children or your neighbor's children are exhibiting any of the signs that yours are, they're all in this position. And it's really just a matter of time for that like last feather to boom. And it will be something. It will be something, because we live in such a toxic environment. So unless we're already doing these things, which we're not, what I've already talked about, but what I'm going to talk about next, it's inevitable. It's inevitable for us. It's inevitable for our little kids' bodies. And unfortunately, them being born in this world, and when and how small they are, and all of the bombardment of everything, you're not alone. Okay. So the next important thing is really looking at all the organs and all the places in the body that are holding on to this toxic load so that your child can function. So we're looking at the organs, the detox organs. We're looking at the lymph system, the liver, the gallbladder, the bowels, the everything, right? And when these systems can no longer just process these toxins and get them out of your body via your sweat, via your breath, via your urine, via your stool, that's when it starts to back up. So you think about like a clogged drain, and it starts to fill up. It's like it's too gunky. So kind of visualize that if you can. I mean, if you can, that everything is just backed up and gunky. And so that's why the immune system is now sending this distress signal to you, the mom, and saying, hey, like, I can't handle this anymore. And so it's just another, bring this to your attention, because it's just another component of what needs to be done really in order to heal your child. And it is so much more, unfortunately, than booking an appointment, running a lab, getting supplements, and eliminating a handful of foods. That in itself is going to give you some relief. It absolutely is. But all these other issues that aren't being dealt with, eventually it's going to pop back up. But like I said, it's all the same thing. JIA is the same thing as a tick. It's just a matter of, because it's really just toxins in the body, in a tissue of the body, and then the immune system cleaning it out and creating inflammation in that area. So if it's inflammation in the brain, inflammation in the gut, we have some people in our program with Crohn's, we have people with uveitis, we have juvenile arthritis, we have endometriosis. So all of them have the same exact root cause. Obviously not exact, right? Some people it's mold, right? Some people it's strep, some people it's heavy metal, but it's at that root level. And then the symptoms go out. And my child has type 1 diabetes. My child has lupus. My child is on the spectrum. It just, where is that inflammation taking place in the body? So yes, that's the simple explanation. Simple doesn't equal easy, unfortunately. Those words sometimes are synonymous, but they don't mean the same thing. That's the simple explanation. When I talk to people and I tell them that, it's like a light bulb. That makes perfect sense. That's not the way the doctor explained it to me. That might not even be the way the functional doctor explained it to me, but that made sense. What you just told me made perfect sense. Simple, right? Now, the execution of it is a lot more difficult, because we're dealing with a child who is a delicate body and is growing and is going to school and has this going on and that going on, and homework and autonomy. And really what we need to do is completely rebuild their body from the bottom up. Every cell needs a new. And that's not just one cell turnover, right? That's multiple cell turnovers as we keep on nourishing the body and giving it what it needs for gut wall repair, for microbiome installation, for the organ detoxify. I mean, there's so many different things. And so it's really not a matter of, okay, give me these things and I'm just going to do that, and then this is going to get rid of it. That's not how it works. It's in the moment. It's in the day. It's, okay, what is her body or his body exhibiting today? What do they need? More of this? Do they need less of this? How do I heal the body? As it's like fixing a plane in the air while you're flying it in the air. That's not easy, right? That's hard. Simple, but hard to do. And so, as I mentioned before, my daughter had juvenile arthritis. I had to do this. This was, I always say 10 years ago, but it's like longer now. I've been doing the GI blueprint for so long. She was 9, she's 22. So, and you do the math. It's a long, it's not, I say it's a long time. It's not easy. So what I've done is I've taken everything I've been through, and then I've helped people with all sorts of ailments. I didn't always just work with kids with juvenile arthritis. I've worked with people with all sorts of autoimmune, hormonal, neurological issues one-on-one. But what I've done was I've created the JIA blueprint, where I help moms just like you. I work with you every single day, all throughout the day, not just once a day, all throughout the day. I help you all throughout the day, making decisions on how to respond. What do they need? Up or down? What do we do? Right? I offer all my clients coaching every single week. And now inside the blueprint, it's grown so much. We have so many resources inside the blueprint. But you get the course, you get the JIA blueprint where you learn all of these things, exactly what it is you need to do. Then you come into my community. We have 100+ families in there that are all following the blueprint and in different stages of their healing. Everybody is together, everybody's talking, everybody's supporting one another, answering each other's questions, but most importantly, you're getting answers from me on what to do minute to minute, day to day in order to reverse your child's juvenile arthritis or even your other children's other things or something you got going on, right? Because it's still, if yours is hormonal, it's the same as your JIA child. You need the same thing. And then the weekly coaching, where we can set your intentions, we can make a plan, we can have some accountability and actually do the work, because that's the thing. The JIA blueprint, it's not a magic wand. It's not something where like, oh, it's not like going to the functional doctor and running a test and getting supplements and going about your day. No, it's not. It's not. But that's why I am up front and center like this with my clients. And there's so much in the blueprint. I mean, I can go on, and we're always improving it. One of the big improvements that we just made for 2026 is we have a nurse practitioner inside the group now. So we already have a functional doctor who operates as a coach inside our group, where you can get all your labs ran at practitioner's cost. You can get all that functional advice. You have me giving you all of that day-to-day, minute-to-minute nutritional instruction and direction and support. We have an apothecary in the group. We have shopping lists in the group, meal plans, recipe books. I mean, it's growing by leaps and bounds, and just continually adding value to people. So that way you can have, for you as the mom, you can have that peace of mind of, oh, I have the answer. I have the solution. I have every resource I need all in one place. And now I can focus on my other kids. I can maybe, who knows, maybe I can have some meaningful friendships or just be more present for my husband, or just be me again. That's really, we get lost in this as the mom. And as long as we're always chasing the next thing, and always looking for the solution, we don't have the solution, and our cortisol's through the roof. We're stressed out, and that's just the way that it is. So the idea with the blueprint is for you to have every single thing, everything you need all in one place. And that's why we made it lifetime. We made it lifetime access, not because it takes a lifetime, but because this is to get you from where you are to your final destination. And life happens to people, right? You're going to have your own set of circumstances, different than Sally and different than Mary. And I meet you where you are. So that's really what the JIA blueprint is all about. But now we have a nurse practitioner in the group, someone who you can even go to get those types of prescriptions from. So everything that you need all in one place, the JIA blueprint. This is something that's created as from my heart, as something as a mission for me, knowing what I had to do to get my child where she is, and knowing that route and how to get out. It was put on me to help others to do the same thing. So you will not one bit be sorry if you enroll in the blueprint. It's everything you ever needed. It's everything all in one place. It's all the support, caring, everything that you need emotionally. Oh yeah, we also have a psychotherapist in the group, and we have energy medicine in the group. I mean, we just keep on adding things, not just anything, but we keep adding meaningful things. I just had a client yesterday on coaching say, I just started, my daughter, she was enraged. She was so crazy all the time. And she's been like that since before the arthritis. And she said, and I just got off the call with Stella. She's our labs technician and our bioenergetics technician. And she said, and I ordered the infoceuticals. That's what it's called. It's information energy medicine. And she's a changed kid. And I hear that a lot with kids and with parents, with their kids. But I just heard it yesterday, so I just wanted to share it with you. But it is absolutely true that we need our kids, if their emotional state is blah, 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 then their cortisol is raised. If their cortisol is raised, then their microbiome can't grow and they'll never heal if they're in that distressed fight or flight mode. So we have the energy medicine. We have a psychotherapist. She was just on yesterday, just really giving that emotional coaching to the moms that we need so much. We have the nutritional from me, the guidance every single day. We have a built-in world-renowned functional medicine doctor. We got a nurse practitioner that you can go to with any family need at all. And it just goes on and on. And the blueprint's always growing. And so it really is my heart to share that with you. I hope that I made it clear to you why just doing those two things, even in tandem, is not enough. And that even when we try to piece things together on our own, it really, in the day-to-day, it really can get way too complicated for us as one person by ourselves to navigate it and actually get out of the woods on our own. And that's not to scare you. It's just, you already know. It's so complicated and it's so hard. And so that's why I created the JIA Blueprint. And so I wanted to share that with you. I would love to speak to you if it's something that you feel resonates with you and you feel that your family would be a good fit for this level of support. I mean, it absolutely is my heart and it's something I would absolutely love to do. So you can get that information, on my page here. You can find my email address. I'm certainly somewhere on my page, and reach out to me. You can go to my website, jiablueprint.com. You can reach me there. And we can get on a call and we can talk about what your family needs and if this is the right fit for you. And I would love to help you and your family. All right. Well, you have a good day, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.